I think sometimes parents think that that requires them to be the kind of so-called happiness police, that something about kind of managing kids' safety requires managing their kind of emotional safety. But you've sort of pushed back against the kind of happiness police idea. Why is it that we have to kind of allow our kids to go through these moments of discomfort?
The idea of wanting our kids to be happy, I think, is a well-intentioned but widely misguided wish that actually has the complete kind of opposite impact on kids. Because when kids are young, what they're really learning, and they're developing circuitry in their body, for what range of emotions am I set up to cope with? When can I be resilient? How capable am I of dealing with uncomfortable experiences? When I experience the world, do I look for the narrowest range? Happy, 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 happy. Where is happy? Where is happy? I need happy only. Or am I kind of okay being me because I know I can get through the widest range? Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about being in a toxic relationship. That is not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about things like, Mom, I'm the only one in my class who can't read. Think about this, right? And as a parent, let me just say, it's painful when your kid says that because we love our kids so much, right? I think what we're often tempted to say is something like, that can't be true. Or everybody reads at their own pace. Or that's not true. I saw Bobby. Bobby is no great reader. Or something we like throw a kid. Or, okay, but you are the only kid who can do multiplication. Okay. So what we have the urge to do is we see our kid disappointed, sad, frustrated, mad, jealous, some version of uncomfortable. And to some degree, we think our job in the moment is to pluck them out of that feeling and like bring them to a happy feeling. Another metaphor I like to think of is like we find them on a bench, and this is the bench of I can't read books yet. But really, I think if we generalize, it's the book of I'm noticing people around me can do things I can't do yet, which, by the way, will happen for the rest of your life. Or people have things I don't have, or I just feel less than. And when we see our kid on that bench, we kind of, because we're an adult, like we see a sunnier bench in the garden, and we're just like, come with me there. It's so sunny there. Or we kind of try to convince our kid that their bench that they're sitting on isn't their bench. And we'll say things like, it's not that bad. You're only 6. It's not a big deal. But the problem, I mean, there's many problems, but the problem is like our kid is on that bench. It's like they're sitting on the bench of I feel less than. And then they have an adult come and try to take them off, or try to make, they almost like question, like, wait, am I on this bench? And like almost elicit self-doubt. Why is this not ideal? Because resilience in adulthood is actually based on our ability to kind of proverbially like sit on all the benches we come across in life. I know my kid when they're older, at some point they're gonna, I don't know, be in a class in college where they're intimidated by people. They're gonna get a bad grade. They're not gonna be invited to someone's birthday party. They're gonna get fired for a job. They're gonna think they're gonna get a job and not get it. They're not gonna get a promotion. They're gonna be embarrassed in public. All of the things that happen in childhood won't happen in the exact form in adulthood, but they will happen with the same set of feelings in adulthood. And if when my kid is an adult, what they've learned is when I feel jealous, sad, nervous, mad, less than, I look around for the happy. Where is the happy? All that sets my kid up for is anxiety and fragility. Really does. So what's the alternative? And this is going to sound so counterintuitive, but I'll explain it. Let me go back to that example. My kid's on this bench of feeling less than, which sounds like I'm the only one who can't read. Now, again, we don't have to go to the other extreme. Should I say, it's so true. You're so,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
so stupid. You're so stupid. Duh. No, do not recommend. Okay. But if you think about your kid on that bench, it's actually really beautiful to just be guided by this image. What would it mean to just sit on the bench with them? In some ways, to say to your kid, you're on this bench and you're uncomfortable. I'm not scared of this bench. I don't need to pluck you off the bench. The only reason I would need to do this if this bench was like going to eat you alive, it's just a bench. By the way, you'll sit here a million times. So let me just plop down next to you. And then what you're doing is the most profound thing we can do as parents. is you're making sure your kid is no longer alone. Feelings don't overwhelm kids. Feeling alone in feelings overwhelm kids. And it's actually the experience of repeated aloneness in a feeling that leads to adult anxiety, because you get encoded in the overwhelm of being alone. So I just want to give you a few lines because I wanted to make things concrete, because I hear a parent being like, okay, so I sit down, but like, what do I do? What do I do? And I get that. I'm like that too. First thing you can say to your kid when they say anything they're upset about, it's just, I'm so glad you're talking to me about this. Like, and again, if you think, I wonder if my husband or wife or colleague would like to hear that, they would like to.
Not just parenting advice.
Not
It's just
just
kind of
parenting
general
advice,
relationship
it's just-
It
advice.
really is. I was talking about this on a podcast a little while ago, and my husband, who doesn't usually listen, was like, you know those 3 lines? Just saying when I talk to you about stuff that's hard at work, like, I would like those lines. I would like those lines. Try them with me. The first line is just, I'm so glad you're talking to me about this. The second line is saying to a kid, I believe you. If you want to build your kid's confidence, those 3 lines are the most confident 3 words. Confidence building. Just, oh yeah, and everyone got the books, and I was the only one who still got a picture book. Oh, I believe you. And then the third line is just, tell me more. Because what you're really doing is you're saying to your kid in this powerful way, I am not afraid of your feelings. They will not swallow anyone. And because I can tolerate this feeling in you, you will be able to tolerate this feeling in you. Now, ironically, Laurie, when it comes to happiness, regulating difficult emotions is a prerequisite for happiness. So really, if we, quote, want our kid to be happy, what we should really focus on is not fixing their unhappiness, but really helping them sit with it and cope with it.